In my recent review of the Atlantis Mini, I mentioned the Ninjutso Sora, a mouse that was more to my liking. And I haven't chosen the best time to do this review, as Ninjutsu has already opened pre-orders for the improved 4K version of the Sora. However, I'm sure you find this review useful, as the shape remains the same and you will be able to better understand if this mouse is worth buying. Let's start with the most important thing, the shape. The shape here is typical for all claw grip enthusiasts. It is a symmetrical mouse with a hump that is set back. It's only slightly larger than the Atlantis Mini. This is enough to keep your fingers from hurting during your long gaming sessions. The narrowing in the middle is not so aggressive, so there is plenty room if you experiment with your grip. Let me remind you that my hand measures 19 by 10 centimeters and I usually use a finger and a relaxed claw grip. Given the mouse slightly longer length, the claw grip doesn't require me to bend my fingers too much to rest the back of the mouse in the palm of my hand. It's also cool that there is a wall between the shell and the button, so you can rest your ring finger on it. In general, the shape gives a lot of freedom for different grips, and the extension of the main buttons is quite comfortable, allowing you to comfortably accommodate and extend little finger. The weight of my copy 47 grams, but it feels lighter due to the bigger size. For example, my HTX 4K with a solid shell and grips weigh the same, but in hand it feels heavier, simply because it's smaller. I would also note the very good buttons. The switches are black one with pink dot. They are moderately tight, but very clicky. No side travel, no pre-travel, overall everything is good here. But the side buttons are not so good. For example, the front side button has practically no pre-travel, but the rear side button is already with a decent pre-travel, about 2 mm, and after activation it can be pushed into the body for a quite long distance. Wheel is normal, light enough, but still with clear feedback and clear cutoff. The click of the wheel is medium heavy. And if we talk about quality in general, everything seems cool until you take this mouse in your hands. Because probably the worst thing in it, it's plastic. The mouse itself assembled well, there's no any strange sounds, creaks or backlashes. But the plastic itself, at least in this pink version, has no coating, it's just raw plastic. It feels like a cheap toy. And believe me, I'm into that, because my daughter just turned 1 year old recently, and I can say it's slippery. It just doesn't feel like it should in a mouse for a little over $100. It feels like a cheap product to the touch. Thankfully, Ninjutsu seems to have gotten this kind of feedback a lot and has gone for a premium coating in the 4K version. The second thing I didn't like was skates. As you may have noticed, I paid the X-ray pad jade dots instead of the default skates. Simply because it's out of the box are disgusting. They are very thin and in the case of my copy were not fully glued. On the bottom we also see the standard mouse controls, toggle switch and DPI toggle button, and also a place to store the dongle. Oh. In terms of performance, there is no questions. Here everyone long familiar 3395 sensor. In the case of the original Sora, polling rate is limited to 1000 Hz and it works well. Traditionally, I strongly recommend downloading the software and put the bounce time to 0 milliseconds, because as always, there is quite high by default. And I would like to remind you that Ninjutsu has opened the pre-order for the improved version of Sora 4K. It promises, as I said, an improved mouse coating, a slight weight reduction to 43 grams, optical switches, and of course a polling rate of 4000 Hz sounds pretty cool. I would recommend waiting for the first reviews of the updated Sora before making a purchase decision, but in the meantime I would recommend the 4K version, given the small price difference with the original Sora. On the other hand, maybe we will see big discounts and price cuts of the original, then this choice will not be so obvious. And I would like to remind you that I bought this mouse with my own money. I don't have any affiliate links or even YouTube monetization. So the best reward for me will be a subscription to my YouTube channel and my Twitter. It will motivate me to make more videos for you. Thanks you all for your attention, take care of yourself and your loved ones.